After 7 years of living in borrowed space, my daughter-in-law and son uncovered an incredible 8,000 necklace in the dusty depths of our basement, and everything changed. Jenna leaned against the counter of the local diner, cradling a warm cup of coffee. The smell of sizzling bacon filled the air, but her mind was elsewhere. She glanced around, her heart heavy with longing as she watched mothers like her stable, happy, and embraced by a world she didn't quite belong to anymore. Her family of 4 crammed into a basement, memories surrounded by ghosts of dreams that felt distant. That morning, with the morning light streaming through grimy windows, Jenna was thinking of the American dream. Was it a house with a white picket fence? Or was it just the simple peace of knowing they could pay the bills? As she poured coffee into a chipped mug for Mrs. Henderson, she couldn't shake the feeling that life was slipping through her fingers. The burdens of economic hardship loomed over her, an ever-present whisper in the back of her mind. A few days later, in a moment of desperate cleaning, Jenna discovered the family box hidden in a dusty corner of the basement. Inside lay an exquisite heirloom necklace, its value a glimmer of hope that hinted at a fresh start. $8,000. The necklace glistened in the fading light, a beacon amid their struggles. But that hope quickly flickered. When Jenna and Mark, her husband, dared to dream about what the money could mean for their children, the judgment from their neighbors came like cold rain. Nasty rumors swirled, echoed through small-town conversations. Whispers about their situation, assumptions about their character, it all weighed heavily on Jenna's heart. Standing in a meeting of disgruntled neighbors, Jenna confronted the unfounded prejudices head-on. Their stern faces met her passionate eyes. "Just because we live in a basement doesn't mean we're less than you," she declared, the depth of her emotions bubbling to the surface. She felt the tension crackling in the room. "We're hard-working parents, fighting for our family like you." At that moment, she realized this wasn't just about the necklace. It was about reclaiming their dignity amid harsh judgments and the silent echoes of socio-economic division. The weight of their struggles was heavy, the fabric built of painstaking resilience and love for their children, a life worth fighting for. As Jenna stared into her neighbors' expressions, she wondered if they could ever see her family for who they truly were, not just their circumstances. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Despite her bravery, a question loomed over Jenna's heart. Would they be accepted? Or would the images and whispers continue to chain her family to the shadows? The allure of the necklace shimmered with promise, but with it came the risk of judgment and bias. The path forward felt uncertain, rocky, but Jenna's resolve burned brighter. She would fight for her children and for a future that could be filled with hope instead of whispers. As the community sat in silence, Jenna stood uncompromisingly. Tomorrow would come, and she would be ready. Jenna woke up early the next day. The sunlight streamed through the grimy basement window, bathing the small space in a warm glow. She rolled over to see Mark still sleeping beside her. He had worked late at the diner the night before, and the bags under his eyes told her he was exhausted. Silently, Jenna slipped out of bed and made her way to the kitchen, the creaky floorboards whispering secrets beneath her feet. As she stood at the kitchen sink, washing yesterday's dishes, her mind was a flurry of thoughts about the meeting, the necklace, and her children's future. With each scrub of the sponge, a wave of determination washed over her. She refused to let fear dictate their lives. Just then, her phone buzzed against the countertop. It was a text from her sister, Amanda. "Thinking of you today. Do you need anything?" It was a simple message, but it pulled at Jenna's heart. It reminded her that she wasn't alone, and in moments like this, it felt like a lifeline. After gathering herself, she poured a cup of coffee, letting the rich aroma fill her senses. She remembered a childhood lesson: sometimes, taking one step forward could turn the tide. With that thought, she set out to find a local pawn shop. If they were going to sell the necklace, they needed to do it right. At the very least, she would investigate its worth and options without letting the rumors or eyes of the town sway their decision. The shop was dimly lit and filled with an eclectic mix of items. Old clocks ticked softly, and the scent of worn leather was thick in the air. The shopkeeper was an older gentleman with gray hair and bright blue eyes that squinted as he assessed her. Jenna felt a rush of nerves. "I'd like to know how much this necklace is worth," she said, pulling it from her purse with shaking hands, the light glinting off its intricate design. The shopkeeper examined the piece, his gaze shifting from the necklace to her face, sensing her hesitation. "This is a fine piece," he finally said, his voice a mix of awe and respect. "You'll fetch a good price for it. But tell me, why part with something like this?" Jenna hesitated. How could she explain their struggles? The whispers from neighbors? The burden of carrying so much weight in their lives? It's complicated," she finally stammered. "Our family needs a fresh start." He nodded knowingly. "Life can change in a moment, can't it?" There was an understanding in his eyes, an empathy that made Jenna feel seen. It was a reminder that behind every object, story and struggle lay beneath the surface. Just like her OWN.AS they spoke, more trust formed between them. Across the counter, they shared laughter and concerns. And for the first time in ages, the heaviness she had carried began to lift, bit by bit. Maybe she could reclaim more than just the necklace, maybe she could reclaim her sense of belonging. But as Jenna left the shop with a greater understanding of the necklace's worth, her phone chimed again. A group message from neighbors had been started, and the notification read, "Did you hear about Jenna and her family? They must be desperate enough to sell their heirlooms." Jenna's heart sank, the familiar sting of judgment hitting her squarely in the chest. The shopkeeper's words echoed in her mind. Life could change in a moment. With renewed fire and ambition igniting within her, she brushed away the negativity. Tomorrow, her family would not hide. They would stand tall, and maybe, just maybe, the community could be part of their transformation rather than a chain that kept them bound. Before she reached the door, she glanced back at the necklace one last time, still shimmering under the light. Would that be the key to their freedom? Only time would tell. The thought hit her hard. What if the most difficult decisions they faced could also lead to their greatest victories? And yet, as the whispers continued, she wondered if they had the strength to rise above it all. The necklace sparkled in her pocket, but soon, it could be them shining in their community, ready to rewrite their story. Would they find the courage to embrace the change, or would they be consumed by the gossip that swirled like dark clouds above them? Jenna arrived home, her heart racing. The weight of the necklace pressed against her, a constant reminder of the path she had chosen. As she pushed open the door to the basement, the familiar scent of home enveloped her, musty but filled with untold stories. Mark was still asleep, lost in dreams that felt far too far removed from their reality. She couldn't wake him yet. Instead, she needed to translate her excitement into action. She carefully placed the necklace onto the table, letting it catch the light. Its beauty felt almost mocking, contrasting with the whispers in her mind. Yet, at that moment, it was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol, a beacon of hope. Taking a deep breath, she grabbed her laptop. Maybe it was time to take a more proactive approach. With the rumors swirling in her neighborhood, Jenna knew she needed to strengthen her resolve and set the narrative straight. She started typing, crafting a post to explain the truth behind her decision, one that focused not on shame but on empowerment. "Yes, we're selling something precious," she typed, fingers dancing across the keys. "But it's not out of desperation, it's a choice for a better future. Everyone struggles. We just have a different path forward." With every word, her conviction grew. It took courage to voice her reality rather than hide from it. She clicked post, her heart pounding. Immediately, her phone buzzed, notifications pinging like popcorn in a microwave. Who needs to sell heirlooms? Take a job, one neighbor scoffed. Desperate times, indeed, someone else replied, but then, a flicker of kindness emerged from the shadows. "I admire your strength, Jenna. We all have our battles," Amanda chimed in supportively. For the first time, she didn't feel utterly isolated. Rereading Amanda's words made Jenna smile despite the sting of negativity. It was a small morsel of connection, enough to light up her day. She felt the weight of her struggles lighter, the air fresher. Maybe, just maybe, this could turn into something beautiful. Drawn by a sudden wave of curiosity, Jenna opened her social media page to check the comments. Each refresh felt like peeking through a window, searching for validation or understanding. But there it was, an unexpected message from an old friend from high school, Sandra. "Hey, Jenna. I've been thinking of you. Let us meet up." Jenna's heart swelled. Sandra had always embodied fierce support and unwavering encouragement during the toughest times. It seemed like fate that she had reached out now, just when Jenna needed a boost the most. Excitedly, she replied, "Yes. Let us catch up." As her mind raced with possibilities. Maybe Sandra could help them navigate these murky waters, or at least share the stories of her own challenges. A glimpse of hope shone brightly, illuminating the dark corners of Jenna's mind. Perhaps this was the moment when everything started to change for them. As she drifted into thoughts of a future reimagined, the front door creaked open. Mark stepped inside, rubbing his eyes, seemingly more alert than before. "Hey, what's all this?" he asked, glancing at the table and the laptop screen filled with messages. Jenna felt the urge to explain herself, but instead, she decided to let him take it all in. "Just some plans I have," she said with a playful smile, glancing at the shimmering necklace. "And a rendezvous with an old friend," she added, knowing that reconnecting could further strengthen their foundation. He stepped closer, studying her with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Plans? Care to fill me in?" She hesitated, excited yet nervous. His voice showed genuine interest, a flicker of hope against the backdrop of their struggles. But secrets were not something she wanted anymore. This would be the moment when they faced it together. "Mark," she began, her voice steady but soft, "I think it's time we shared what we've been going through. It's time to build together, not apart." The seriousness in her tone captured his attention. She was ready to turn words into action. As she spoke, her heart raced, not with fear but with the thrill of what could come next. Together, they could forge a new path that embraced their vulnerability, not shying away from it, but owning it. But as the moments stretched on, Jenna couldn't shake the question that lingered like a shadow: what would the community's reaction be once Mark understood the full story? Would they rally around them, or would the whispers grow louder? As Mark listened, the real test began. What if opening up revealed a deeper struggle they would need to confront together? Would this be a breakthrough, or just another hurdle to leap over? Their future seemed poised on a single conversation, and in that silence, Jenna knew that their next steps would truly define them. Jenna turned to Mark, feeling the weight of her words settle between them. The room was thick with unsaid emotions, the silence almost deafening. She could see the gears turning in his mind, processing everything she hadn't quite put into words yet. "Jenna," he finally spoke, his brow furrowing slightly. "What are you really saying? Are we in that deep?" She nodded slowly, her throat tightening. "I think we are. I mean, look at us. We've been battling this alone for too long. I don't want to hide anymore. Selling the necklace is just the start." Mark's eyes softened, and for a moment, she felt hope flicker. But then the flicker extinguished as uncertainty twisted his features. "But will this really change anything? If the neighborhood is already talking, what more could we possibly say?" His concern threaded through her heart like a thorn. She could almost hear the whispers echoing around them, but she stood firm. "It could change everything. If we're brave enough to show our truth, maybe they'll see us differently. Maybe they'll support us. Or judge us even more," he countered, his voice low. The reality of their situation hung heavy like a storm cloud ready to burst. Jenna stepped closer, searching for his gaze. "This isn't just about them. It's about us, Mark. We need to embrace our reality, stand together. If we hide, we can't heal." She could see the conflict in his eyes. Could he trust in her idea? Would he want to confront the world together, or would fear pull them apart again? There was a flicker of vulnerability in his expression. She knew he carried his own burdens. "Okay, he said cautiously, and relief washed over her. Let us talk. But what exactly are we telling them? Jenna took a breath, choosing her words carefully. The truth. The struggles that brought us to this point. How we're trying to fight back. We're selling the necklace because we believe in a brighter future, and we're not ashamed of that. Together? Together, she affirmed, squeezing his hand tightly. His grip returned the gesture, a small reassurance in their uncertain world. Just then, Mark's phone buzzed, breaking their moment. He pulled it from his pocket, glancing at the screen. It's from my mom. She wants to know if we're free for dinner this weekend. Jenna's heart raced at the thought of more family drama. Do you think we should go? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he stared off into space, lost in thought. What if they don't understand? What if they make it worse? As doubt crept in, Jenna refused to let it take root. Or what if they surprise us? We won't know if we don't try. She could see the uncertainty still lingering in his eyes, but there was a flicker of determination behind them too. Okay, he finally said, his voice steadier now. Let us do it. Together. Hope surged through her. It felt like they were on the cusp of something profound, a turning point that could reshape their lives and set them on the path they deserved. As they sat together, staring into the future laid before them, a sense of calm washed over Jenna. Maybe there was strength in sharing their story. Then Mark's phone buzzed again, and this time it was a message notification. Jenna leaned over to peek. A message from Amanda. You're stronger than you think, Jenna. Just remember, there's a whole community ready to support you. Doubt dissolved, optimism surged, and laughter bubbled just below the surface. But other realities lurked in the background. Conversations awaited them, stories to be shared. The thought of facing their family and friends filled Jenna with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. But one truth burned bright: living in the shadows was no longer an option. They were stepping into the light. What would their loved ones think when they opened up? In that moment, she realized that sometimes the most daunting journeys led to the greatest rewards. As evening settled in and shadows danced on the walls, Jenna looked at Mark, an idea forming in her mind. What if we start preparing our story tonight? Together. We can each write down what we want to say. Mark raised an eyebrow, a half-smile ghosting his lips. That sounds like a plan. And just like that, the foundation for their new chapter was laid. With each moment, the weight of secrecy began to lift, but Jenna wondered, would facing the world be just as liberating as they imagined, or would it bring forth a storm they were not ready to weather? The atmosphere shifted around them as Jenna and Mark settled in at the small dining table, its surface cluttered with pens and paper. Earlier, the weight of uncertainty hung heavy, but now it felt different, almost electric. Jenna hadn't realized how much she craved this moment, the opportunity to map out their truth together, to dissect the things they both feared. Okay, let us do this, Mark said, rolling his shoulders as if shaking off the specters of doubt. He picked up a pen and stared at the blank page before him. What do we want them to know first? Jenna drew a deep breath, her heart racing. Maybe we start with why selling the necklace is so important. It represents more than just money. It's about breaking free from the past. Mark scribbled something down. Yeah, it's not just a piece of jewelry. It's a burden we've been carrying. Let us tell them that. Tell them we're ready to let go. Jenna's chest tightened with both anxiety and exhilaration. The stakes felt so high. What if they don't get it? What if they see it as a failure? Then we help them see what it symbolizes to us, he insisted, determination thick in his tone. He glanced at her, his expression vulnerable yet fierce. We'll tell them how hard this has been. How we almost lost ourselves in the process. Her heart fluttered at the way he spoke, his voice steady, fueled by an undeniable commitment. Yeah, and how it's not just about us anymore, she added, buoyed by his energy. It's about our community, our future. We're advocating for something bigger. They were both beginning to lose themselves in the idea. Their fears, while still looming, felt a little smaller when shared. Jenna could feel the resolution blooming within her. As they filled the pages with their thoughts, Jenna lost track of time. The words flowed like water, the mix of hope and trepidation poured out, intertwining. We've got to make sure they understand how much we value honesty. This has been a hidden struggle for far too long. Right, Mark agreed, his brow furrowing in concentration. And that we believe in redefining what success looks like. We're done trying to fit into boxes that don't hold us. A brief moment of silence fell between them. Jenna ducked her head and smiled softly at the thought. What if we can't change their minds? What if we do? He shot back, grinning as light danced in his eyes. We need to open the door, Jenna. They may surprise us. Sitting together in their cluttered little world, Jenna felt a warmth creeping back into her heart. She realized that, regardless of how their loved ones would react, the act of being honest with themselves was already freeing. It was a transformative path to take. With their story drafting itself on paper, they both felt lighter, as though newfound wings lifted them just a little off the ground. Time slipped away, oblivious to the deep conversation between them. The pages filled rapidly, the pen tearing through any lingering hesitations. Suddenly, Mark paused, his face clouded with thought. What if Amanda comes to dinner? We didn't tell her we're ready, and she'll definitely be curious. If she's there, what then? Jenna's insides twisted at the mention of uncertainty. We can't control who hears our truth first, Mark. We just have to be ready to share it when we do. The knot in her stomach tightened. Can we do this? Really? Mark reached across the table, taking her hand in his. We're doing this, Jenna. Together. We can't hold anything back anymore. As they locked eyes, a rush of adrenaline pulsed between them, igniting the flicker of hope into a roaring flame. But as excitement filled the air, Jenna felt another wave of apprehension. Would the truth really set them free, or would it shatter everything they'd built? The clock ticked steadily in the distance, but nothing felt steady about the moment. What awaited them came with both possibility and peril. And then, as the night deepened and shadows wrapped around them, a single thought clawed at Jenna's mind. What if the truth they were ready to share tore their world apart instead of uniting it? As the tension hung thick between Jenna and Mark, the shadows in the room seemed to deepen with every passing second. The ticking clock echoed like a metronome, measuring each heartbeat and every doubt that spiraled through Jenna's mind. She half wished for Amanda to join them, to distract from the reality settling in that they'd have to face their fears laid bare. Just imagine if Amanda's here, Jenna murmured, swirling her pen absent-mindedly across the table. She'll only want to steer the conversation to her life. We'll hardly have a moment. Mark shrugged, his gaze fixed on the burgeoning words on the page. But maybe she needs to hear this as much as we do. She's part of our circle. She should know about our struggle, too. The thought made Jenna's stomach churn further. What if Amanda judged them? Their friendship meant a lot to her, but this was different. This wasn't an average Friday night dinner. This was cutting through years of expectations and burdens, shifting the very foundation of their lives. Do you think she'll understand? Jenna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mark paused, looking pensive. Understanding takes work. But if we can't be real with those we love, who can we be real with? His words enveloped her, igniting a flicker of courage. They faced worse challenges together. Remembering the sleepless nights spent comforting each other after failed attempts to start fresh pulled her back into a familiar rhythm. Okay, she said with a nod, her resolve strengthening. We can do this. We'll just have to make sure we stay on the same page. Mark's eyes sparkled with nostalgia, and for a brief moment, the anxiety faded. They had this dance between them, a trust they built through shared dreams and sleepless nights, a rhythm they could rely on. As they resumed writing, Jenna's heart started to race in a different way. She realized that this wasn't just about selling the necklace or confronting their past. It was about building a bridge they could walk across with their community, not just for themselves, but for Amanda and everyone else who looked to them for guidance. Let us talk about the struggles, Jenna suggested. Shared experiences matter. We need their empathy, not their judgment. Mark nodded, a serious expression creeping onto his face. Exactly. Let us put that down. It'll show them we're being vulnerable. Real. Emboldened by this new focus, Jenna's pen raced across the page. We felt lost, we worried about our future, we battled against the fear of failure. What if we frame it as part of the journey? Mark suggested, leaning forward slightly. We're not ashamed of where we've been. It's made us who we are today. Jenna smiled at him, her heart warming at the way he always knew where to steer the conversation. With each shared word, they crafted the most honest narrative of their lives. But just as the excitement was rising, a sudden knock echoed through the door. Jenna and Mark both froze, the vibration of uncertainty instantly coursing through them. Who could that be? Mark asked, his voice tinged with apprehension. I don't know, Jenna replied, her stomach flipping with alarm. Another knock rang out, louder this time. Jenna swallowed hard, uncertain if this moment was the blessing or the distraction they needed. Should we see? Mark gestured toward the door, but the look in Jenna's eyes spoke volumes. What if it's Amanda? She whispered, fear creeping back in like an unwelcome guest. They stared at each other, the weight of the moment settling heavily between them. What if Amanda was the door they weren't ready to open? Or was it time to face not just the fears of their past but the very realities of their present? As the knock sounded again, more insistent than before, a rush of anxiety swirled through Jenna's mind. She knew one thing: whatever awaited them on the other side of that door would change everything. The knock came again, sharper this time, causing Jenna's heart to skip a beat. Should we open it? Mark asked, his brow furrowing. It felt like the room was closing in on them, each tick of the clock louder than the last. Yes, no. I don't know. Jenna's voice trembled, caught between the prospect of facing Amanda and the urge to hide from the reality of their situation. Another knock resounded, heavy and urgent. It was as if the universe was pushing them to confront whatever lay ahead. They exchanged glances, that unspoken language tightening between them, the kind shared in moments of vulnerability and fear. Mark stood up and took a tentative step toward the door. Jenna wanted to shout for him to stop, to protect their fragile moment, but she couldn't find her voice. Instead, she remained anchored to the chair, the pen still poised over their notes, lifeline to the words they were crafting together. What if it's not her? Mark spoke as much to himself as to her, gripping the wooden doorknob. What if it's someone else who needs us? The thought was both a comfort and a burden. What if it was Amanda? What if it was someone with even heavier news, someone who would drag them further down into their own insecurities? Part of her felt that they should stand strong and face whatever was about to come through that door. But another part feared what this confrontation could unravel. Mark took a deep breath, his fingers tightening around the knob. Jenna finally broke out of her paralysis. Wait, she called, a mix of fear and resolve in her tone. He paused and turned back to her, eyes questioning. What if we just let it be for a moment? Get our heads together first. We could talk a bit more about what we want to say if it is Amanda. Just breathe, she urged, heart thudding loudly in her chest. Mark seemed to consider, still caught in the limbo of that urgent knock. He nodded slowly and released the doorknob, crossing back toward the table, the tension slowly easing from his shoulders. Jenna took a deep breath too, gathering her thoughts. What if we end up saying something that gets twisted? What if she doesn't understand our perspective? Mark cracked a small smile. Then we'll have to explain it until she does. We can't rush into things, Jenna. Suddenly, the knock echoed again, even more insistent than before, as if someone on the other side was equally desperate. Fine. But we need to be honest. If we're doing this, I want it to be clear. She couldn't shake the feeling that every moment felt like a tightrope walk. Okay. Honesty. Unfiltered. Mark's voice grew steady, firm. No matter what, we'll stand together. Just like we always have. Jenna's heart swelled with gratitude for his unwavering support. Maybe they could face this together. Just before she could embrace this resolve, the door swung open, revealing a figure they both knew too well. Hey! Sorry I'm late. I got caught in traffic, came Amanda's bright voice, almost too loud for the tension in the room. She stepped in, her smile freezing at the sight of their faces, confusion flickering across her features. Mark exchanged a wary glance with Jenna, knowing that the moment of truth had just begun, but now they had to navigate through Amanda's buoyant energy and their tangled emotions. Would Amanda even notice they were holding pieces of themselves back? Or would this become another night of pretending everything was fine? Jenna took a breath, steeling herself as the air thickened once more. What awaited them now felt more complicated than ever. Amanda's eyes darted between them, her infectious smile faltering. What is going on? You two look like you've seen a ghost. Jenna felt her stomach knot. We were just discussing things, she said, her tone steely. It wasn't exactly a lie, but it felt like one nonetheless. Things? Amanda repeated, arching an eyebrow. She stepped further into the room, tension shadowing her once bright demeanor. As the door clicked shut behind her, Jenna felt the weight of their facade slipping away. Mark cleared his throat. We were preparing for tonight, Amanda. It's important. He said it with an air of finality, but Jenna could see the worry creeping into his expression again. Important how? Amanda leaned against the doorway, crossing her arms. Look, I get it. Things have been heavy. But I'm here to help. What do you need? Jenna exchanged another quick glance with Mark, the distance between them feeling both comforting and infinite. If they didn't open up now, when would they? Words bubbled in her throat, desperate to escape. Amanda, she struggled to find the right way to put it. We don't want to pretend anymore. Not with you. Not today. Taking a deep breath, she continued, you deserve to know where we're at. Just can we talk honestly? Her heart raced, each beat a reminder of the vulnerability she laid at Amanda's feet. A flicker of concern crossed Amanda's face, replaced by a determined nod. Sure. Let us talk. Mark shifted, his body tense as if preparing for battle. We're going through things that we haven't allowed ourselves to address. It's all out in the open now, we can't keep digging holes, pretending things are fine when they aren't. Jenna felt a rush of panic. Was it really happening? Were they just going to lay it all out? But why now? Amanda questioned, her tone softer but still probing for the truth. What's changed? Jenna finally opened up, pouring out some of the fears that had festered silently over the years. There are things we've kept locked away. You know how life can weigh you down. It's hard when you carry burdens in silence. And we feel it's affecting our relationship with you. The room felt stifled, the silence heavy with acknowledgement, unspoken words swirling in the air. Amanda's expression softened as she stepped away from the door, her arms dropping to her side. I thought we were all good, Amanda murmured, almost to herself. I didn't realize you felt that way. Because we didn't let you in. Mark spoke up, regret lacing his voice. It's our fault for not being more open. Jenna followed Amanda's gaze, noticing how her expression had shifted from confusion to contemplation. We've all been carrying something, Amanda said, her voice dropping softly. What if we could help each other carry it instead? The air shifted, and with it, Jenna could feel an opening, a possibility. Was this what they had longed for, a connection rooted in vulnerability rather than distance? But then, as Amanda took a step toward them, Jenna's heart plummeted. The fear of the unknown returned, twisting her insides. Just how deep did the chasm of their silence run? Were they ready for the revelations this honesty might unleash? Let us figure this out together, Amanda urged, stepping closer. But just as Jenna felt hope budding, the light in Amanda's eyes dimmed. But there are things I need to tell you too. The weight of those words hung heavily in the air. What could Amanda possibly reveal? The thought sent a jolt of apprehension through Jenna. As she glanced at Mark, she could see the uncertainty mirrored in his eyes. Would they be able to handle the truths that lay ahead, or would it be too much for their hearts to bear? Jenna took a shaky breath, bracing herself for the unknown. What revelations were waiting? Would this moment of honesty bond them closer together, or fracture the ground they stood on? As Amanda prepared to share her truth, a palpable tension filled the room. Jenna's mind raced. What could she possibly say that might alter the delicate balance they had just tried to establish? The words sat heavy on the tip of Amanda's tongue, and Jenna's heart pounded in sync with the uncertainty swirling around them. Mark hesitated, as if contemplating whether he should speak up first. But before he could find his voice, Amanda took a breath, steady and deep, as if preparing to dive into icy waters. I've been keeping something from both of you too. It's been eating away at me for a long time. Her voice trembled slightly, but determination flickered in her eyes. Jenna felt a lump rising in her throat. She had waited years for moments like these, where truth and honesty could bloom in a space that felt safe. You can tell us anything, Jenna replied, her voice steadying as she leaned closer to Amanda, encouraging her to continue. Last year, my mom was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's, Amanda confessed, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. I've been trying to hold it together, to be supportive, but it's so hard. I feel like a shadow of myself sometimes, and I worried that sharing this with you would only add another layer to your burdens. Jenna's heart broke at Amanda's revelation, each word cutting through the silence like glass. It explained the moments Jenna had sensed Amanda slipping away, the times she had seemed distant and distracted. Oh, Mark murmured, stepping closer. I can't believe you've carried that alone. You should have told us. I didn't want to burden you, Amanda whispered, wiping a tear from her cheek. You both had your own struggles. I thought I could handle it. But now, it feels too heavy to keep hidden. Jenna reached out, taking Amanda's hand in hers, squeezing it gently. You're not a burden. We're a team. We want to share this with you. That moment felt transformative, as if the air around them crackled with renewed energy. Jenna pushed back the emotional tide threatening to engulf her. It was Amanda's truth, and it deserved to be honored. Let us support each other through this, Mark said, his voice firm yet soft. We'll be there for you, Amanda. We've faced struggles together, and this is no different. Tears streamed freely down Amanda's cheeks now, but they carried a weight that was somehow lighter, relief mingled with sadness. I can't thank you enough, she said, her voice trembling with gratitude. You have no idea how much this means to me. They stood there for a moment, a trio of shared uncertainty, yet connected by the bonds of their vulnerabilities. Jenna felt a sense of hope seep through the cracks of her own worries. But as comforting as the moment was, a lingering question drifted in Jenna's mind. Is that why you've been so distant? Amanda nodded, her cheeks still glistening with tears. I just didn't know how to handle it all. None of us do, Mark said quietly. We can learn together. It was an affirmation, yet Jenna held her breath, fearing what would spill forth next. There was still so much unaddressed, so many questions lingering in the air. They had begun to peel back a layer of their truths, but would this newfound closeness hold up under the weight of everything still unspoken? What happens next? Amanda asked, pulling away slightly, vulnerability laying bare before them. It was a simple question, yet loaded with implications. Where would this path lead, and could they confront not just their own fears but the uncharted territories of their intertwined lives? In the silence, the room felt charged, pregnant with possibility. Jenna stole a glance at Mark, who looked back, apprehension mirrored in his eyes. Was there a chance? Could they really face everything together? And in that charged stillness, a new revelation brewed, lurking just beyond their reach, waiting to be unearthed. What hidden layers of truth were still left to explore? Would they emerge stronger, or find themselves unraveling further? The room was thick with anticipation, a tapestry woven from the threads of their fears and hopes. Jenna could sense the weight of Amanda's question hanging in the air, waiting for courage to guide the conversation. She took a deep breath, grounded in the shared vulnerability that connected them all. What do you need from us, Amanda? Jenna's voice was steady, laced with compassion. We've all been carrying our burdens. Let us carry them together. Amanda's brow furrowed, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. I guess I need support, she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. My mom's diagnosis hit me hard, and I've been scared. Scared of losing her, scared of showing weakness. Tears brimmed again but did not fall. The glint of vulnerability sparkled in her gaze. Then let us be there for each other. We're stronger together, Mark interjected, leaning forward, as if offering a lifeline. You've always been there for us, Amanda. Now it's our turn. Jenna felt a rush of warmth, an unspoken agreement washing over them. This was the time to redefine their bond not just as friends but as a support system that stood resilient in the face of life's challenges. She reached over, placing her hand over Amanda's, feeling the connection pulse like electricity. We'll navigate through the dark spots together. No more hiding, she said firmly. With that, walls began to crumble. Amanda nodded, and the tears flowed freely now, not just from sorrow, but from the release of unspoken fears. Thank you, this means the world to me, she said, her voice shaky but genuine. The warmth in the room enveloped them, a rare intimacy. Jenna felt the pieces shifting, her heart swelling with the realization that this life she feared losing was, in truth, a community stitched together by struggle and love. In that moment of shared honesty, Amanda became not just a friend, but a sister in arms, someone ready to share this journey. Yet, amid the heartfelt moment, Jenna's mind raced back to the necklace. That shining symbol of hope had been the catalyst for this moment, pushing them to confront their truths. It was more than a valuable heirloom, it had unlocked the doors to deeper connections. What if we used that necklace as a starting point? Jenna proposed, filled with newfound resolve. We can sell it and reinvest in ourselves. It represents our commitment to change. What do you think? Mark looked thoughtful while Amanda's eyes widened in surprise. That feels so risky yet hopeful at the same time, she said, contemplating the weight of the decision. Risk can lead to great rewards, Jenna replied, glancing at Mark, who nodded with determination. This is a moment to take a leap of faith. We're ready to step into the light, share our stories, and let go of what holds us back. Together. With that, Jenna felt a swell of solidarity, the shared fears morphing into the building blocks of their future. They truly had a chance to reshape their lives, not just for themselves but for each other. It would give them the agency to define their dreams on their own terms, free from judgment, free from the chains of their past. As her heart pounded in her chest, Jenna felt the weight balanced by exhilaration. Let us check the value of the necklace together. We could create something meaningful, not just monetary but emotional. How freeing would that be? The hope in her tone was contagious. Mark looked at her, a grin breaking across his face. I'm in, he declared, the warmth blossoming around them as they committed to this path together. Let us not only write our story but find ways to live it too. Me too, Amanda nodded, a smile lighting up her features, dispelling the earlier tensions. She squeezed Jenna's hand tighter. Let us embark on this adventure as a united front. As tonight turned into dawn, Jenna felt a weight lift from her shoulders, an unshackling of fears long held tight. They would face whatever came next, the whispers of the community, the fears of judgment, and their own inner doubts. Together, they became stronger, ready to step boldly toward a future shaped by hope, love, and understanding. The three of them shared laughter, their voices rising, weaving together their stories, each thread vibrant and full of life. It was time to shine brightly, step into the light, and reclaim their identities not as defined by their economic struggles, but by their resilience and determination to embrace the journey ahead. As they settled into a renewed friendship, Jenna knew deep down this was just the beginning. They would transform challenges into victories, turning uncertainty into strength. With the necklace ready to serve as a beacon of their commitment to change, it was not just a symbol of survival but also a promise woven in love, courage, and unbreakable bonds. It was now or never. Now it's time for you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support means everything. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this impactful ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting us through these actions.